What is up, Beta Ray brothers and sisters? Beta Ray Jim here, back with another Beta Rayview, and today we'll be taking a look at DareDevil by Frank Miller. Does this omnibus deserve a spot on your bookshelf? Stay tuned and find out. Let's do this. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. Here we go, DareDevil by Frank Miller. This omnibus collects DareDevil number 158 through 161, 163 through 191, and it also has What If issue number 28. It is $125 MSRP and consists of 840 pages. Now, I'll cut right to the chase. I think we all know that this book does deserve a spot on your bookshelf, and I'll definitely explain to you why. This book was very interesting, actually. It's the very first exposure I had to DareDevil. I wasn't really a big fan back in the day when I collected a lot of comics, and I bought this because everyone recommended it's a good read. Everyone said you need to read Frank Miller's DareDevil. And they're right. It's a great read. In fact, this book contains one of the top reads, comic book or no, one of the top books I've ever read. Really, really good stuff. We'll definitely be talking about that more. But I want to start out with my history with DareDevil. I used to play the Marvel Superheroes role-playing game way back in the day. And I remember flipping through the Heroes book and looking at the characters and who was the most powerful, and that's why I kind of gravitated towards Hulk and Thor, because they're just so OP. So I remember looking at DareDevil and being a little underwhelmed by his stats. He wasn't super strong, he didn't have a lot of health, wasn't super smart or anything, and his powers, he didn't have a whole lot of powers, plus he was blind. Like, how was this a superhero? So really didn't see the attraction towards him. In one of the very first issues, it shows Bullseye, and he leaves a note for DareDevil, and this confused me. I'm like, wait a minute, DareDevil, he's blind. Why is he leaving him a note? Oh, right, the villains don't know that he's blind. And then, but wait a minute, how does he read it? So it gets later into the book, and DareDevil finds the note. I was thinking, well, how is DareDevil going to read this? And sure enough, his enhanced abilities, his enhanced sense of touch, he's able just to move his fingers over the picture and he can see what's on the picture. And okay, we're getting off to a good start here. This is really cool how DareDevil can overcome his handicap, and he's able to see just by touching things, and also he has his sonar abilities and things like that. So I found that part to be very cool in the book. I really liked it, and it kind of made me grow. My affection kind of grew for the character as I was reading through that. Fast forward a couple issues, and we get to a part where DareDevil is fighting the Hulk. Now, if you looked at that Marvel Superheroes role-playing game, again, would go to those stats, DareDevil would not have any chance against the Hulk. One hit, and DareDevil would pretty much be dead, Well, sure enough, in the comics, Hulk gets one on him, hits him with a backhand, DareDevil goes flying, and when I read that, well, yeah, Daredevil's dead. That's it. End of the comic book. Cancel it. It's over. Well, it didn't quite kill him, but they held true to the power of the Hulk. They put him in the hospital, and as you can see here, yeah, it almost killed him. It's like Fantastic Four is here reading the last rites, and they're not really sure. It's kind of touch and go. So I really like that. I liked how it exposes how, I don't want to say fragile, but it exposes that Daredevil isn't Thor. He isn't Hulk. He can get messed up. He's under a lot of disadvantages, being blind, of course, and not having the super strength or the incredible mind. Now, obviously, he's a smart guy and everything, and he's no slouch when it comes to combat. And let's talk about that for a little bit. I want to talk about the combat. I love how Frank Miller draws his combat. It's beautiful in this book. Just the fluid motions, and Elektra, and she's stabbing the size, and how it pierces through their back, and you see the fabric, stretching out. Absolutely love it. It really adds to the book, the reading experience. It's fantastic. I'm a big fan of Bullseye. I think he's a great villain, perfect for DareDevil. I also like Kingpin. Kingpin is a major character in this book, and he kind of usually gets over on Daredevil. There's a scene when Daredevil gets Kingpin alone, and he's gonna just beat information out of him. And Kingpin's like, no, I'm too smart for that. I'm too smart for that. You're not going to do that. You're a good guy. You don't do that. Check out this scene. This is one of my favorite scenes in the book. I really love how Kingpin plays him for the fool. It's like, you're not going to beat the hell out of me. You're too good. Just stop. Get out of here. It's great. I love the writing, the interaction, and Daredevil. It's a great story about how he has to balance his career with being a superhero, and he's got to pull some tricks. There's a scene where Bullseye, sneaks into his apartment, and he's got like a mannequin set up to make him look like Matt Murdock, so Bullseye doesn't realize, because he's kind of on the trail. He thinks that Matt Murdock is in fact Daredevil. So great stuff there. How Daredevil has to kind of hide his identity, and nobody thinks Daredevil is blind. Again, going back to that. Fantastic stuff. Now, everyone talks about, when you say 181, everyone talks about the Hulk 181. First appearance of Wolverine, but man, this 181, I'll say it's definitely a better read than Hulk 181. I mean, it's not as significant, of course, but it is one of the best books I've ever read. The story, front to back. Do yourself a favor, at the very least, read Daredevil 181. So good. The entire story of how Bullseye is just itching to get his hands on Daredevil, to extract revenge, and anything short of death will not stop Bullseye from him trying to extract his revenge on Daredevil. It's very, very powerful. Huge spoiler here, of course. We have the death of Elektra in this book, which I'm sure at the time was just incredibly shocking. This is Marvel, so nobody really stays dead, of course, but just awesome and fantastic read. You've got the fight between Bullseye and Elektra, and then later on in that same issue, you've got Daredevil coming for his revenge for killing the woman that he loves, and Bullseye and Daredevil going at it with the Frank Miller artwork and this huge story. It's wrapped up so nicely at the end. I don't want to give away the very, very ending of this issue, but I thought it was just so perfect. I love how the beginning of the issue and the end of the issue kind of ties together, and everything's wrapped up in a nice little bow. Of course, there's things that continue on, story arcs that are going on and such, but just could be the best comic book I've ever read. Daredevil 181, must read, absolute must read in my book. Incredible. Go pick up this omnibus. This one is a must have. Again, cannot recommend this book enough. And if you're looking to buy it, go ahead and check out my top 3 omnibus vendors video. Hopefully you can find a copy and not have to pay the MSRP. And that's the review. I really appreciate you stopping by to check it out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit that like button if you liked the review, and hit the subscribe button. I've got more content coming out in the future. Also, I like to do live stream gaming, so if you like, come and hang out. We'll play some games together and such. But yeah, that's it. I'll have more videos coming in the future, and I'll catch you next time.